we're all on the same page, Kevin. How about I just read the resolution? Thank you. People are we're talking about. Adoption of revisions to the county's comprehensive plan, future land use map development regulations, floodplain ordinance, building regulations, and planning commission bylaws, providing for severability and establishing an effective date. Whereas the Oreille County Commissioners adopted a comprehensive plan recommended by the County Planning Commission on October 17, 2005. And whereas the comprehensive plan that was prepared is truly a community-based document that will serve to guide the allocation of limited county resources and day-to-day decision-making over the next 20 years. And whereas the county planning staff have prepared in consultation with members of the general public and the Planning Commission the statutorily required update of the comprehensive plan under RCW 3670 Alpha 130, consistent with the provision of the county's comprehensive plan. And whereas on July 1st, 2020, Oreille County submitted a notice of intent to adopt amendment to the Department of Commerce. And whereas on July 20th, 2020, Oreille County received an acknowledgement from the Growth Management Services Review Team that they had received a notice of intent to adopt and would be forwarding the documents to the other applicable state agencies. And whereas on April 21st, 2021 and April 28th, 2021, Oreille County published a notice of comprehensive plan, future land use map amendments, rezone, and SEPA review in the Newport Minor. And whereas Oreille County issued a SEPA threshold of determination of non-significance on April 23, 2021, and published legal notice for the action on April 21 and April 28 of 2021 in the Newport Minor. Whereas the Planning Commission conducted a public hearing to consider amendments on May 11, 2021. Whereas a timely appeal of the threshold determination was filed and a public hearing was held in front of the county hearing examiner on December 2nd. Whereas a decision by the hearing examiner was received on January 25, 2022, granting the appeal and directing the county to rescind the SEPA threshold determination and issue a new threshold determination in compliance with the requirements of Chapter 4321 Charlie, the Washington Administrative Code 197-11. And whereas a revised SEPA checklist and determination of non-significance was routed to the SEPA register on July 25, 2022, and was again timely appealed and sent to a public hearing in front of the county hearing examiner on October 13, 2022. Whereas the hearing examiner denied the appeal on November 22, 2022, and affirmed the determination of non-significance issued by the county. Whereas the amendments were routed to the Oreille County Planning Commission for deliberations and the preparation of a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. Whereas on January 17, 2023, the Planning Commission considered and deliberated regarding the record developed through the workshops, public comment periods, and public hearings, and voted unanimously to make the following recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners. The Oreille County Comprehensive Plan, recommend approval. Oreille County Future Land Use Maps, recommend approval. Oreille County Development Regulations, recommend approval. Oreille County Floodplain Ordinance as a standalone document, recommend approval. Oreille County Building Regulations as a standalone document, recommend approval. Oreille County Planning Commission bylaws as a standalone document, recommend approval. Whereas the Planning Commission found that the amendments complied with the requirements of the Growth Management Act, Chapter 3670 Alpha, RCW, and the county's comprehensive plan, now therefore be it hereby resolved by the Oreille County Board of Commissioners to adopt the findings and recommendations of the Planning Commission, etc. And that's the resolution we would be up for consideration here.
Do you have the head sheet?
What's that?
Do you have the head sheet?
Yeah. The package. I would entertain a motion. Either one of you tell me. Go ahead.
I move that we accept the recommendation from the Planning Commission to approve the statutory update of the comprehensive plan, future land use maps, development regulations, and critical areas code, and approve the attached resolution.
Second. And a motion and a second. Any further comment or question on the problem? No. Okay.
Oh, I certainly do.
Oh, you do? Go for it. Your voice was getting up.
Yeah, it was. That was a lot of work for a lot of people. Listen, the irony is not lost on me that while we spent the better part of 5 years and $250,000 taxpayer dollars managing our growth, we have lost Oreille newsprint, tech mine for good, one of our sawmills, indeterminate number of small businesses, and then all of the impact related to any of those businesses, direct, indirect, implied, while at the same time blowing out a couple of prospective revenue generating projects. As a commissioner, all you ask of me is that I provide excellent services and lower your taxes. You want to raise the bar for services, but you like to pay less for them. And strangely enough, I think we can deliver on that. I think it requires one thing, and that is dense revenue generation. My budget in that regard is no different than yours. You have two options for the budget. You can cut, or you can raise revenue. Really your option. With your own home budget, with the county budget, it's no different. I am hearing from many people loud and clear, our services have been cut enough, right? You expect the potholes to be filled, the roads to hold together, they're going to be plowed, permitting is going to happen in a timely fashion, and all the rest of it. And I'm hearing from the other side that our taxes are high enough. So if we're going to generate revenue, my preference would be to do it in a dense fashion so that we can maintain our rural character, right? Rather than sprawling, we have it in dense pockets, and my preference would really be exports. That if you don't want to pay for it, if we don't want to pay for it, more taxes, then we start bringing in money from other places. I think to use our rail infrastructure, that's going to be a critical piece of it. But really, in my estimation, I can't say this any more clearly, the largest hurdle to revenue generation in this county has been our lack of appropriate land use designations and zoning. Removing that hurdle sends a message that Oreille County is open for business again. I can't recommend this strongly enough, and so I absolutely support it. I thank you for your work, and for those who showed up with 11th hour concerns, I would say we're going to hold Greg to this. This is a living document. Sharpen your pencils, do your homework, make your case, bring it back this fall, and it's going to live or die based on its own merits as it goes before the Planning Commission. And we're going to do that every year for as long as I'm in this seat, and that will be the precedent that this board sets for sure. So we'll take another swipe at it this fall, but my recommendation is absolutely a yes.
Okay. Robert, any comment or further discussion?
I believe this document balances the competing interests of quality of life, sustaining the character of Oreille County, adequate environmental protection, the potential for the kind of economic growth that will allow generations that have grown here and want to move here to have the means by which to support themselves and their children. And it balances all those competing forces in a way that I'm comfortable supporting.
Very good. I would just add a couple of seconds to what John said about continuing this process. They say communication is difficult, but the only thing worse than communicating is not communicating. And I think that same could be said about land use and planning. It hasn't been an easy process, but I think we need to continue that process. A lot of what we're dealing with is a lack of these things being done correctly in the past, in my view. And so I think we need to continue this process and keep at it in a timely fashion going forward. As messy as it could be, And, you know, as difficult as that could be, the only alternative is worse. And so very much agree with what Tom said as far as going forward. I think this is a step in the right direction. And I think it's very much an improvement and addresses some of the failings that were in the comp plan. And I think you did a good job, Craig, of articulating those. And I'm in agreement very much with the planning commission and our department on those failings that needed to be corrected. So looking forward to it. So we have a motion and a second.
Mr. Chairman, I request a hand vote, so I could remember it.
I don't think we've done a hand vote, so you might need to educate me.
Instead of I, a raise of hands.
All in favor, raise your hand. Yes.
Well, you made some assumptions there.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Yep, thank you.